Hi students, very good day to all. So welcome back to the physics video session. So today's session we start with analysis of syllabus because now we have received the revised syllabus published by CBSE due to the COVID-19 lockdown. Some of the portions deleted in few topics, few chapters, and about 30 percentage including practicals. So totally previously we have 150 theory periods of planning and 60 periods of practicals. Now it is reduced to 118 from the 150, and the practicals from the 60 periods it is reduced to 32. So totally 30 percentage including practical and theory, the syllabus has been reduced. Comparing to the theory only 20 percentage may be reduced. Very few topics, less important topics only reduced in the theory part. So let us see what are the deleted portions, and once again we analyze the syllabus in the 12th physics. We have totally 14 chapters grouped into 9 units, that is 14 chapters are once again the chapter 1 electric charges and fields, chapter 2 electrostatic potential and capacitance, chapter 3 current electricity. These three chapters has been finished. The first chapter you studied classroom itself in March month, and after that chapter 2 and 3 we finished now. So very few topics, there is no deletion in the chapter 2, only chapter 1 and 3 some portions, 1 or 2 questions has been deleted, so there is no problem till now. So after that deletion in the other topics are there. So chapter 4 and 5 are moving charges, magnetism and matter. So chapter 6 and 7 are electromagnetic induction and alternating currents, then electromagnetic waves. So very few, only 2 periods for the electromagnetic wave, less importance, so easy topic. And a very important topic is the ray optics and wave optics, maximum 18 periods are allotted. So after that dual nature and matter, so it is also a easy chapter. And atoms, nucleus, so most of the correction in the nucleus, and it allotted for 11 periods. So electronic devices, the last unit, the semiconductor electronics, is also most important topic. So let us see deleted portions in these chapters. In the first chapter, electric charges and fields, the deleted portion is the last topic, that is electric field due to the uniformly charged thin spherical cell. The spherical cell, field inside and outside, already we studied the electric field inside a spherical cell will be 0. So it's a important question, maybe asked for 2 or 3 more question. It's only deleted in the first chapter, so there is no big issues. And in second chapter there is no deletion, so the same syllabus as it is we have, so we have finished also, no problem. The current electricity, third chapter we are presently seeing, almost today itself we have finished numericals also. So the deleted portions are here, carbon resistors and color coding. So already we have studied in a class color coding. There are so many color bands in the resistors, and they are used for the acronym BB Roy, very great Britain, very good wife, like that, no. So that is only, and series and parallel combination of resistors, the effect of resistors in series and parallel combination. This is also you have studied in 10th electricity, so less importance only. So now they have been reduced in current electricity, so it may be omitted, and just you strike over the syllabus in your book. So we will see later briefly on the upcoming classes. I will tell, so what are the portions you have to strike over in your book and what are the portions you have to be studied. Okay, see, we will see later now. And in the fourth, that is the fourth, moving charges and magnetism. So in this chapter also only small deletion, the cyclotron is a 3 more question only deleted. And fifth chapter, magnetism matter, here half of the portions are deleted. So this is a theoretical part, so majority of the portions deleted in the chapter 5, and so likewise in all chapters. So in chapter 7 alternating current, there is no deletion. In the chapter 6 electromagnetic induction, and chapter 8 only one topic. Chapter 9 also few topics. Ray optics is a very important chapter, only few topics. And also in the wave optics, the one or two applications are deleted. And chapter 11 dual nature, some deletions. Atoms no deletions, but in nuclei most of the portions are deleted. So less important topic. Nuclei is a small unit and deleted half of the portions, and electronic devices, the genodiode and applications are deleted. So nearly 22% of the previous syllabus has been deduced, and they are very less importance only. So core subject as it is we have, so we should study hard. That is, we have the lot of syllabus as a core part, and we have the lot of numericals compared to other subject. Physics we have so more contents, that is syllabus we have. So we should spend more time to learn. So that's all, students. In the part of that is practicals, so previously 12 experiments we have to do here. After that only 8 experiments it's enough, and activities we have to do minimum 6 activities. So 8 experiment plus 5 or 6 activities. So we have the practicals. So these are the scheme and revised syllabus that is announced now. So we should be ready, and we will go on, students. So now let's start with the last part of the current electricity for numericals. Let us discuss some numericals. Question number 11 in the NCERT textbook exercises. A storage battery of EMF 8 volt and internal resistance 0.5 ohm is being charged by a 120 volt DC supply using a series resistor of 15.5 ohm. So what is the terminal voltage of the battery during charging? So by understanding the question, just you draw the circuit diagram. So here 8 volt battery is charged by the 120 volt DC supply. So this is the supply source. So this is the battery being charged, whose internal resistance is 0.5 ohm and external resistance included is 15.5 ohm. So small r is given 0.5 ohm and capital R also given 15.5 ohm. Also the question asked the second option, what is the purpose of having a series resistor? So what is the purpose of this series resistor in the charging circuit? So first let us calculate the terminal voltage of the battery. So now there are two potential differences, two batteries, two power supplies are there. So net power supply in the circuit is calculated as by using the Kirchhoff's second law. So take the positive for 120 volt battery, so 8 volt will be negative. So current passing from this direction, so this is the potential drop. So take it as a minus 8 volt and 120 volt plus. So net EMF in the circuit will be calculated as E equal to 120 minus 8. So the E equal to EMF of the circuit will be 112 volt. And also we have to calculate the current passing through the circuit. So for that we use the Ohm's law. We know the V is equal to IR. So I, current passed through the circuit, I is equal to voltage in the circuit divided by resistance in the circuit. Here voltage in the circuit is net EMF E. So V is replaced by E, and the total resistance in the circuit will be, there are two resistors are there. So in series combination, so we can add it. So capital R plus small r is the total resistance in the circuit. So this is taken as denominator. So we can calculate the current passing through the circuit or passing through the battery during the charging. So I equal to, we can write E by R plus R. So by substituting E R small r, we can calculate. Capital E is calculated as 112 and capital R is 15.5, small r is 0.5. So we can calculate I equal to is 7 ampere. So students, you use the numericals, you do the calculation and obtain 7 ampere. So this is the current passing through the battery while charging. So now this condition, we are going to find the terminal voltage of the battery. First of all, we should know what you mean by EMF and terminal voltage. EMF of the battery or cell is defined as the potential difference in between the two terminals of the cell when it is open condition. So simply if you take the cell and just measure the potential difference between two terminals, that is positive and negative terminals, so that potential difference voltage is called as EMF. Suppose it is connected to the circuit, external circuit with a resistor, so the discharge will be there and current will drawn from the battery. So in this condition, the potential difference between the two terminals of the positive and negative of the cell will be less than of EMF. That voltage is called terminal voltage. Suppose it is connected to the circuit. Now you measure the potential difference between the two terminals, positive and negative. It is called terminal voltage of the battery. So it is taken as two categories. While discharging, only the battery is there in the circuit, no external battery in the circuit. So the terminal voltage of the battery is given by V is equal to E minus IR. This is in the case of discharging, where E is the EMF of the battery and small r is the internal resistance of the battery. So minus IR means the voltage drop through the battery. So this is the terminal voltage while discharging. But now in this question the condition is given as charging by the external battery. So the formula will be V equal to E plus IR, where E is the battery EMF, that is EMF of this battery, that is 8 volt. You can write 8 volt plus IR. I is the current passing through the battery, also calculated as 7 ampere, and the internal resistance of the battery is 0.5. So we can write 8 plus, that is EB, battery EMF plus IR, where IR is the voltage drop inside the battery being charged. So this is during the charging. Suppose this is in discharging condition, this is taken as the voltage drop is minus. So we can add 8 plus 7 into 0.5. So 8 plus 7 into 0.5, 3.5. Totally if we add, V is obtained as 11.5 volt. So this is the terminal voltage of the battery during the charging. Suppose charging is stopped. Now if you measure the potential difference between two terminals, so it is called EMF. So it is equal to 8 volt. While charging, it is called obtained as the 11.5 volt. So see the difference. So normally 8 volt will show. So if charging by another battery, it shows the 11.5 volt. Suppose no batteries inside the circuit, so discharging is there. It is removed. This battery is removed, so current will drawn from the battery through the external resistor. Now due to the discharge, the potential will be dropped. So 8 volt may be lesser than 7.57 like this. So this is during the discharging. So in this way we can calculate the voltage drop, that is terminal voltage of the battery during the charging. So similar way we can calculate during the discharging. So now come to the second point. What is the purpose of having series resistor in this charging the circuit? So here 15.5 volt is connected with series connection to the external power source. Here external power source is 120 volt, so large current will be drawn from the battery. So in order to limit the current drawn to the circuit, a series connection, a high resistance should be connected. Then only minimum current will be passed through the battery, so it will prevent the damage. So that purpose we are using the resistor in series connection. Question number 12. In a potentiometer arrangement, a cell of EMF 1.25 volt gives a balance point at 35 cm length. So E1 is 1.25 volt and balance point L1 for E1 is 35 cm length of the wire. If the cell is replaced by another cell, so E1 is replaced by E2 and balance point shifts to 63 cm. So this is taken as L2. So what is the EMF of the second cell? So here given that is E1 is given, first cell, it is equal to 1.25 volt and corresponding L1 is given, L1 equal to 35 centimeter, and also for E2 L2 is given, balancing length for second cell, so which is equal to 63 centimeter. So but E2 does not be given. So you have to find E2. We know the formula for potentiometer comparison of two cells, E1 by E2 or E2 by E1 equal to L2 by L1. Otherwise E1 by E2 equal to L1 by L2. Here we need E2, so we are taking this formula. So from this formula we can write E2 equal to E1 into L2 by L1. So this is a very simple formula. So substituting the values 1.25 volt, everything should be in SI unit, and L2 is 63. So here L1 is 35. Centimeter is not a SI unit. However, so numerator and denominator are the same, so they get cancelled. So simply substituting the numericals value only. So solving this, we can obtain the value 2.25. Students, you try to solve and by using manually, and we can obtain the value 2.25 volt. So this is E2. So simple formula by using this. So in this formula we may be asked for L2 or E1 or E2, or simply asking the ratio of given two cells. So these are the variable questions may be expected by using this formula. Question number 13 in our NCERT book for the third lesson, current electricity. The number of density of free electrons in a copper conductor is 8.5 into 10 to the power 28 per meter cube. How long does an electron, single electron, take to drift from one end to another end? Length of wire 3 meter. The area of cross section of wire is 2 into 10 power minus 6 meter square, and carrying a current 3 ampere. So here current is given, length, area is given. So just imagine the question and simply in mind you draw the diagram like this. So this is a copper wire having the length 3 meter and the area of cross section is 2 into 10 to the power minus 6, and the free electron density, number of electrons per unit volume is, that is called free electron density N, or density of free electrons, equal to 8.5 into 10 to the power 28 per meter cube. And also given is the current passing through the I is given 3 ampere. So you have to find time taken to reach the electron from one end to another end. So that is we should calculate. For that we should need drift velocity. Velocity means distance traveled by time. So distance is here length of the conductor, one end to another end. So if you length is given, if you calculate the drift velocity, we can find the time to travel from one end to another end. So that we have to calculate drift velocity. First you write what are the given things. Here given things are, so that is length is given 3 meter, area of cross section is given 2 into 10 to the power minus 6. So just to ensure that all parameters are in SI unit. So area of cross section is in meter squared, and current is given I equal to 3 ampere, and N, number of free electron density or density of free electrons. So this is in per meter cube, which is equal to 8.5 into 10 to the power 28 per meter cube. That is in a unit volume this much of electrons will be available in a copper conductor. So now just we have to calculate the first drift velocity Vd. We know the formula I by NEA. Simple formula we know, current equal to NEA Vd. So simply you mug up the formula NEA Vd. So this is the mantra for memorize this formula. I equal to NEA Vd, and Vd equal to I by NEA. So just substitute the all values, 3 divided by N equal to 8.5 into 10 to the power 28, and E is called the charge of the electron. So always you should in your mind the charge of the electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and the area of cross section is given 2 into 10 to the power minus 6. So calculating this value, we can obtain Vd equal to 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter per second. Student, just you calculate manually by multiplying and dividing. Finally you can rounding up the value, so it will give 1.1. So this is drift velocity, but question is asked for what is asked, the time taken, T is asked. So we know drift velocity equal to distance traveled by time. So that is L by T. Distance here is length. So L by T. So time taken T. So we have the formula T is equal to L by Vd. Vd drift velocity is equal to L by T. T is equal to L by Vd. So L equal to 3 divided by Vd is 1.1 into 10 to the power minus 4. Substituting, we can obtain 2.72 into 10 power 4 second. So 10 to the power 4 second. So we can convert into the hours. So it will give, for converting the hours, we know 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds. So dividing by 3600, which will converted into hours. So divided by 3600, we obtain 7 hours 33 minutes. So time to travel from one end to another end of the copper conductor for the electron is 7 hours 33 minutes. So just imagine, so how long the drift velocity. So to cross over the 3 meter distance, an electron takes 7 hours, 7.5 hours. So you just imagine the drift velocity of the electron. Actually we are thinking the electrons are fastly moving through the network, that is through the conducting wires, but not actually right. So here, to cross over the 3 meter length of the copper wire, an electron takes 7.5 hours the time. So it's a reality.